We'll see if that changes. I mean, especially now that we're not on freeways anymore, then that's really diminishes the chance of CHP getting involved. But you know, who knows? And we're back. Des, are we going back west now? Picking up some speed.
Westbound on Hellman's. Yeah, a little. Yeah, actually. Yep, just about almost freeway speeds here on Hellman Avenue. This is a residential neighborhood
Let's
here.
turn this down now that we got it on the big computer.
Pretty badly. Trying to navigate this
been a little
thing
crazy.
southbound now, Westmont Drive. Not sure if the street's even going to go through. It's going to be running into the 10 freeway here again. But into this neighborhood, is there any rhyme or reason? Are they planning something here? Or
stopped at a whole intersection.
A rudderless ship in the San Gabriel Valley.
Intersection,
we'll see here as we get through this neighborhood. But
of course, we didn't get to see that.
We might be heading into, we're into a cul-de-sac now. So, you know,
here we go.
If LAPD wants to come and get them, and it seems like, unless this is his house, didn't have any idea what he's doing, but looping back around.
Wrong turn.
But no, they're just kind of hanging out back there.
Well, don't hurry. I mean, that's the wrong thing to say.
It's interesting. You know, they sure give a lot of leeway to a lot of these
suspects. Welcome in. It's just a chase. You know me. I'm up late.
It continues. Here we go.
Well, that's kind of the difference.
Druridge plays.
If they weren't in tracking mode, they'd have been right behind him and potentially
The
blocked him in if
police
they
weren't
wanted
even
to.
up
Because
behind
they're in
him.
tracking mode, it requires them to stay away from him. And that's kind of what this works into. But this neighborhood, I'm looking at the maps, and Des is right. I mean, he's going to have to come back up to Hellman. This is kind of all blocked off by the 10. So he can make his way back towards where the 10 on and off ramps are, or he has to come back out to Hellman. Otherwise, we're just going to be kind of going in circles in this neighborhood that is basically blocked into the north by the south of this neighborhood is the 10 freeway, and to the west of this neighborhood is the 710. So he's got two major freeways that are kind of encapsulating him in this neighborhood. He's going to come back out to the majors to get out of this neighborhood.
So it's a stolen car pursuit, Mike. Do we know what area this car was reported stolen out of?
We don't. We know that it was central officers that eventually picked it up. That's in the downtown LA area. It's unclear if that's where it was stolen from or kind of what the circumstances are on the theft. Usually we have to get that information from the watch commander, but the watch commander is busy, dealing with the chase right now. So we'll have to try to get that information once this kind of comes to an end. Now the airship is saying we're still in tracking mode, but do we want to maybe kind of set up a spike or something to try to bring this to an end? We're back out on Hellman here, which is going to be this major road, which gives them a lot more options to try to get out of this neighborhood.
It kind of makes you wonder why they are in tracking mode right now. Oftentimes when officers want to see that person slow down because they're driving so recklessly, so fast, they'll want them
slows down
to
for
slow down, and
so
they
he's
think
not
maybe
too
taking the
reckless.
pressure off, maybe getting those ground limits off of
Earlier's
them
intersection,
could maybe
he
lead
just
to them
slowed down
driving a
completely,
little
waited
safer,
for
if you will.
everybody to go by,
and that's sorry, Suze. That's just what's weird though here is the design of tracking mode is to not let the guy necessarily think you're being chased, but you keep the night sun on the whole time. He obviously knows that everyone's still there. Yeah, so it's interesting the way they're kind of playing this.
It makes you wonder if they're also wanted for something else. For that reason, too.
That might be they might be wanted for something.
You don't know what else is going on or what those officers know. Certainly they run the plate and they know a lot more about the alleged theft. Was this taken by force? Was this taken at gunpoint? Was it a straight stolen? When, where? Is there a known suspect? All of those other things they're certainly privy to. We're obviously not. So yeah, they may have more information, but the half tracking mode thing is just kind of interesting because the guy is slowing down at times and then he shoots up and goes at 60 miles an hour on surface streets, and you've got the night sun that's still on, which is, every agency's got their policies. If this was a sheriff's tracking mode, that's their policy is to keep the night sun on.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting is LAPD's policy is the ground units keep their lights and siren on, but the airship turns off the night sun. The sheriff's policy is the night sun stays on, but the units kill their lights and siren. So it's very interesting the way that all these different agencies have these theories about tracking mode, how to do it, what
now
works,
the
what
police
doesn't.
are following.
Pull behind that car there for a second.
Now the police have caught up. Okay, fine.
And then it's kind of continuing on here. You've got more units at the intersection there that are kind of hanging out and waiting for him. Seems to be abiding by
Here we go again.
laws,
He's
right?
just
that's a red
stopping.
light.
He's letting traffic go.
He's running cornered now.
It is, and I mean, there's a ton of units right here as well. I mean, getting awfully close if they are in tracking mode. Almost seems like they're just really kind of itching to get back in pursuit. It seems like this would be one of those ones that would be very easy to end, and spike strips had already been authorized, and it is frankly just confounding when we haven't had crazy wrong way driving or on the right hand shoulder or 60 miles an hour on surface streets. We haven't had any of that, but the second we got out of downtown, LAPD decided they wanted to go into tracking mode, and now this guy's just kind of gallivanting around
I need to go.
San Gabriel Valley, Boyle Heights area. Seems to just kind of be content to continue this as long as the police will let them. And at this point, it just doesn't really seem like LAPD is too interested in being very aggressive in ending this. Is where now back on the 10 out after our a little tour there around Alhambra.
And Desmond, were you able to get a chance to see if there's more than one person inside, or is it just the driver right now?
I haven't had a chance there. We'll see if we were able to get in front of the windshield at some point here. Probably should be able to with the
I think it's only one.
This one, but we've
I
got
believe,
the typical, typical Pursuit 10 on this car is, you know, I don't know, just pretty much every car in Los Angeles has tents on it. It certainly seems like it, but certainly 90-something% of the Pursuit vehicles that we're talking about seem to. And as we widen out, I mean, you still got a little bit of volume here on the eastbound 10. The worst of that traffic has cleared up, but
and that was the other one.
We're still not, you know, going super fast. So now we're back on the freeway. Does the CHP want to come and get involved? I mean, we know we've seen CHPs use spike strips on the freeway or even pit people and slow traffic on the freeway here. If
don't put
if LAPD wanted to, you know, relieve themselves of this and hand it off to CHP, that maybe that'll be an option for them.
He's on the freeway now, so
really bizarre. He even saw him there for a second using his turn signal as he kind of moved over into the other lane there, which, you know, at least he's courteous with the traffic while he's, you know, running from law enforcement. We noticed they just swapped out, it looks like they did swap out the helicopter that was overhead. So this is a fresh LAPD helicopter that's now over this as we continue on the eastbound side of the 10 freeway. And what we'll have to see, Des, as we excuse me, move further and further away from the city of Los Angeles, you know, these officers are going to have to make a decision on how long they want to keep this going. And as you pull out, did we already? Oh, they're way back there now. Okay. So we'll see if they're going to want to have CHP rather come and get in this. LAPD doesn't like to do these things far out of their city. So they're getting decently far out of their jurisdiction now that we're coming into, you know, Northview, Alhambra, Southview is Monterey Park. So we're moving further and further away from the city. Excuse me. We'll have to see, Des. Have you heard anything up there about CHP?
I have not yet at this point, and I wouldn't even be surprised if this is one of those ones where, you know, they ask CHP to get involved, and we've seen it plenty of times where CHP just kind of like tacitly gets involved, and then the second they get off the surface streets, like, we're not interested.
Yeah, never mind.
And then they give it back to LAPD, and maybe at that point it's too late. I could definitely see this potentially going that way, especially just considering, I mean, you know, it's a stolen vehicle. Haven't heard about any violence because of that, or this being like a known felonious suspect or anything like that when it's on the more minor side of the wand. I mean, it seems like, you know, CHP's doesn't perhaps, I could say, not have their heart in it fully if they get asked to take this over. That's not to say always. I mean, other times they might come in and just pick the guy and get it over with. It just kind of depends. You know, they may have a lot of other things going on if they're getting ready to, you know, run traffic breaks for Caltrans construction, or if they have any units that are available, they could be out assisting, you know, disabled motorists or any number of things. But regardless, we haven't heard about CHP as they're in the Metro Express lanes now on the eastbound 10, kind of avoiding a little bit of that. And I mean, hey, if you've already allegedly stolen a vehicle, why not, you know, get
that carpool violation
in this as well? Yeah, you may as well just rack it up,
get
right?
that carpool violation.
Des, while you were talking,
for the owner of this vehicle.
While you were talking, I did just hear them talk about trying to get CHP involved. So it sounds like someone's going to make that call now to see if CHP wants to get involved. They are switching over to a citywide tactical 2, Desmond, TAC 45. Channel 45 if you want to listen to it over there. So we'll keep an eye on this and see if the California Highway Patrol gets involved as we begin the 9 o'clock hour here on KCAL News.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. Yes, we do begin the 9 o'clock news. Paying close attention to this, I don't want to call it a high-speed pursuit because these aren't necessarily high speeds, but this certainly has been going on for quite some time now. And as you had just mentioned, you and Des, this vehicle, this Hyundai, Elantra, is on the eastbound 10 freeway, and it's a stolen vehicle, and it appears to be getting off and on the freeway.
Nope, tire blowout or something. I think
we had a couple of sparks there. That was totally unnecessary. Just went over, made a last-second decision to go over the curb there. This poor little Elantra, that you saw some sparks there. Definitely, I could have punctured a tire doing something like that. And just when this, you know, suspect was kind of being allowed to just continue this. We'll see if that did anything to the vehicle now as we're off here not too far away from Rosemead and a couple of the taller buildings as we're making another turn. But LAPD still has their helicopter overhead. Did that affect the tires at all? I mean, it definitely got our attention up there with those sparks that came out. And what is the plan here? It just seems, like I said, aimless so far. South of the 10 freeway now off of Rosemead Avenue, Pat.
Okay, now Desmond, we saw this vehicle, it hit a curb. Is that right? That's why it spiked. It's not like it went over a spike strip? Just want to make sure because I was talking.
I didn't see anything. Oh, maybe the.
Yeah, it was just like a median right there, basically. What they call a gore point that separates the exit lane from the main line lanes. He just was like he just made the decision to exit late and go over that that structure. And I could tell you with a little bit of embarrassment that I've gotten a flat tire that way before, so I wouldn't be surprised if not doing that on the freeway, not on the freeway, mind you, but trying to turn into a driveway. I wouldn't do that on the freeway.
Traffic jammed up
so
there.
Definitely possible. Now
he's
backing up, and we've got a little bit of construction here as well. Trying to go into the construction area. This is kind of a weird one here. Yeah. So here you go. There's some Caltrans, and here's the flag man there just going, what's going on? He's kind of dumbfounded by all of this, but going to be getting back onto the freeway now at this point. Yeah, back eastbound 10. Our tour of the San Gabriel Valley continues.
You know, this is a very, I'm not going to use the word interesting because at this point they just seem to be driving rather aimlessly, but it seems like they've had a number of opportunities to use a spike strip, even do a pit maneuver. So, even though this is a stolen vehicle, I hate to see that happen because it's not this guy's
someone else's car, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they tried early on in this chase. So this chase was very, very slow speeds, like around City Hall in the downtown area, and was pretty exclusively there. From the time we heard it, we launched Desmond. Desmond was about halfway to downtown, and throughout that whole period, which is maybe 10 or 12 minutes, he stayed in the downtown area, and then all of a sudden he just started wandering to the east and then got on the freeway. So while they were in downtown, they had approved spike strips. We're trying to get some set up. That didn't happen. Then he comes across the 6th Street Bridge, and they try to get a Hollenbeck unit at the end of the 6th Street Bridge to set up a spike, and they just couldn't get it put together in time, and then he gets on the freeways.
And he's been on the freeways most of the time since then, right? I mean, he just got off in that construction zone area, but has been pretty much on the freeways, which would explain the CHP getting called in.
Yeah, we've been on the freeway for a while now. We've done this like kind of get off and get right back on type of thing. The time when we started the 9 o'clock hour when he was off over there in the almost El Monte area, South San Gabriel area, was kind of the only time that he had gotten off for any extended period of time off the freeway. Other than that, he has been on the freeway. Besides from when this started, since we've been over it, he's been on it on the freeway most of the time.
But CHP has not engaged.
CHP's not engaged. They were called, they were asked, and then he got off the freeway.
So that was that.
Right. So now we're back on the freeway. So we'll have to see if we try to play that game again. Now we're coming back towards the city, though. So we'll see if LAPD wants to hang on to it. It sounded like CHP, or LAPD rather, wanted to call CHP because they were kind of getting further and further away from the city of LA. But now that we're back westbound and we're coming kind of back towards the city, we'll see if LAPD wants to keep it. And I don't know, Des, I can't tell. We haven't seen those ground units in a while. For a second, they were kind of right up on them, even though they were in tracking mode. I don't know if you see them or how close they are now.
Yeah, we'll just widen out and see if there's still anyone behind him. And way back there. Yeah, more than 24 car lengths probably back behind the suspect. So. Yeah, and what's the game plan here? Headed back towards downtown LA where we were first hearing about all this, and we first picked it up as he was getting on the northbound 101 away from the 6th Street Bridge, and that seemed like that would have been a fantastic place for a spike strip there on the 6th Street Bridge because they really would have been confined there with no way to dodge it, and especially hard to see with all of the lights being ignominiously out that we've been telling you about now for many months, but. I digress. We're westbound still on the 10 and not even, going super fast. I mean, we're not seeing any real effort here to get away, but, who knows? Maybe they could be on the phone with someone right now trying to plan something out. We've been seeing way too much of that in recent memory with different tactics that these suspects have been using. But, up to 80 miles an hour now, about the fastest we've gone. This will deposit us onto the northbound 101 if they stick in these lanes, but we've still got the option for the 710 as well as the 5 freeway before we get to downtown.
You know, we've seen this vehicle, too, stop on a number of occasions since you've been over this on surface streets where we thought, okay, they can move in and possibly, you know, do something. At one point, I saw the LAPD with their doors open, thinking maybe this guy was going to stop, but he just pulled off rather slowly. And maybe this happened maybe more than one time. So it kind of almost makes you wonder if that's the game plan here. They know that they're probably going to be taken into custody at some point, so they're just sort of taking their time and just driving aimlessly, having law enforcement follow them until this is over.
Yeah, lots of opportunities to stop this suspect, but for whatever reason, LAPD just doesn't seem to feel like being aggressive with this one this evening, and I mean, they are letting it go on for quite some time, and you know, I mean, it's definitely tying up quite a bit of resources. I mean, we've got a helicopter overhead. They've already had to switch out helicopters on this one. We saw it looked like a dozen units at one point there off of Fremont Street when the suspect was stopped at that light. They were all circled around the suspect, and you know, yet it continues. Westbound 10, we're crossing the 710 freeway, so suspect decides not to head towards Long Beach. We're right next to Cal State LA right now, and you see still quite a bit of that eastbound traffic, which is very, very strange at this time of the evening. I mean, the Dodger game's been over for quite some time, so I'm really unsure what's causing all of that traffic. As well, over to the right-hand lanes, these would take us to the 5 if they continue on this tact.
Mike, do we know the circumstances of this one? It's a stolen vehicle, but could that play into why they're reacting the way they are, law enforcement?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we usually have to get that information from the watch commander of the division that started it, but they're still dealing with the pursuit, so we haven't been able to talk to them yet. But absolutely, I mean, they know the circumstances behind the theft, if this was taken by force, if it was taken at gunpoint, if it's fresh, if it's in their area. They have all those specific information that could make them want to kind of stick with this a little bit longer than they usually would do. The other thing that it's kind of, you know, it's hard for them to say we don't want to chase it anymore when he's using a turn signal and kind of stopping at stoplights. Like, we've not seen anything that's like terribly, terribly aggressive for them to say this is too dangerous, right? So it's kind of, you know, it's this hard thing of like, do they, even though they're out of their area, they're coming back to it now, but do they give up this chase when the guy's not really doing anything that kind of, you know, wild? Des, I wanted to ask you a question. Somebody on X tweeted me with a bunch of exclamation points saying that this is actually a Toyota Yaris. Can you tell if that is a Toyota Yaris?
No, I'm pretty confident this is a Hyundai Elantra, I believe, is the model here. But regardless, which I think may actually be a little bit more capable than a Toyota Yaris, but perhaps not by very much. Pretty sure that's what it is. My other car friend here, who is just like such a savant with these types of things, also texted me and confirmed that this was a Hyundai. So I think that's what we will be sticking with on the pursuit. I think they just passed one of the ramps there for the 5. So looks like we are headed back towards downtown LA, and then now and then it's going to be that thing now where it gets complicated for the airship to do the tracking. So do we want to re-engage and maybe get this over with, or are they just going to kind of hang back there and kind of let the cards fall as they may?
It's a stolen car.
Yeah, certainly difficult for the airships and even for us to follow. And once they get around those
he like got an
buildings,
intersection
and, of course,
and he
we've
completely
seen the old duck and
he got to an intersection, completely stopped, waited for all the traffic. The cops surrounded him. They were getting out of their cars, and he just took off. And then he got to another intersection, and he waited for all the traffic to go by. I mean, he's just casual. He uses his signals and all that stuff. Cops getting out, pointing their guns. He just drives right off.
So are they?
He came out already. Does
stop? Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So here we
he's
go.
out the other side. Okay,
they're still hanging back there, but yeah, I mean, we're getting really close to where all the tall buildings are at. And
tall buildings are going to
it's going to be complicated for the helicopter to stay engaged with this and just keep the law enforcement units back. And that's going to give the suspect really kind of an unforced advantage if they were to want to get out and run.
I mean, in
they
the
would have some
picture,
leeway
like,
if
they were real close,
they
and
wanted
then
to
they
do that. If
backed
they would,
off.
have some very valuable time, I should say. If and I mean, even at this moment, they kind of have that, maybe just about 10 or 15 seconds lead time. But
And
look,
look,
look, stopping here, didn't
stops
go
at
through
the
that light,
intersections.
didn't do anything crazy, didn't cut
No
off the Metro
problem.
light rail train or anything
Oh, there's a train right
like
there.
that.
Okay.
So it's just you just wonder what is going on with these suspects. Is there a mental health issue as well? Sometimes with these ones that just kind of go on and on and on at slow speeds, that's another possible factor. Or if they're just I don't know, trying to kind of, as I've said before, just be as annoying to the police as possible and tie up as many units as they
Coming up to
possibly
another
can.
intersection, of course, he's going to slow
Possibly
down.
as well.
Respect the
And
intersection.
Did he come
Oh,
out?
there we
No,
go.
there he is.
oh, he's going to turn.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's out, and it looks
Back
like we're
on
going
the
to
freeway.
get back on the freeway.
Oh,
I think it's
back
going
on the
to
freeway.
put us
Okay.
on the northbound 101.
I was going to ask just now
Can they
where
back
this
out a
was
little bit so
downtown
we
in
can see if
relation to
there's
where this
more
pursuit
police
started,
behind him?
but
Well, we've been here before.
he's off to the races
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we've been in this area before. This is where, we kind of started, and we were down near City Hall, which is just a little bit to the west here. I mean, now we're going to go back on the 101, but he's been on the 101 before. Actually, I think this exact spot. He went northbound 101 and then eastbound
Well, now
10. Oh, now back off.
And he
he's
drove
back-
into a
as
cul-de-sac
quickly
too.
as he went
Yeah.
on.
He
He's
drove
back
into a
off
cul-de-sac and
now
turned
he's
around
back on
and came
Circus
back
Street,
out. No cops
which
behind
really
him.
seems like a bit of roundabout. Round and around he goes. Where he's going to stop, nobody knows. How this is going to end, nobody knows. Goodness sakes.
And he
Running stop signs, yeah.
running stop signs, and they're itching to get CHP to take this. I think they're getting, I don't want to say bored, but they want probably another agency to get involved, because as soon as he hit the freeway, they said, "We'll call CHP," and then he gets right back off. So they're looking for that CHP angle to come take it in here.
Careful.
But yeah, I mean, and then you have weird moves like that. Sometimes we stop at the stoplights, sometimes we use our turn signal, and then
that's
other
a
times we
wild
don't do
turn.
any of that.
That
It's
was
very
a wild
strange.
turn right
Yeah.
there.
He on silent.
It's almost like he's lost
Oh.
a little bit downtown.
Well, for
but-
sure. He's hit cul-de-sacs twice
Yeah.
and dead ends.
And it can be
Because
confusing
I'm
if you're not familiar with the area. With
recording
all the
something on my
one-way
phone,
streets
and
and the
you
dead
taught
ends and the
to
freeways
Do not
intersecting.
disturb.
But they're pretty close now.
So yeah. if you're
Yeah,
making-
and
don't
we're in that
forget,
part
don't
of the
forget.
Boyle Heights area where
I
so much of
can't
the
open
area
it
is kind of
because
sliced up by the
I'm
freeways here, by the
recording
5, the
on my
101,
phone.
and the 10. And if you are
Because
not
I knew I
familiar
was
with the
gonna
area,
be
you're right.
busy
I mean,
this evening.
Rutabaga
I
could
had other
definitely
things I
you
wanted
could get
to do.
yourself into a jam pretty quickly. But and we've covered so much.
I did not say that. I did not. You don't call me enough. My mic's low, really? Let me see. Oh, my mic is low. Oh, hello. How about that? Does that help? I had it turned down in the back. I didn't realize I had it turned down that low. I didn't realize I had it turned. No. I'm recording because I knew I had other things I wanted to do
Patrol
tonight.
cars in the
So-
area, even around the perimeter. Des, if they wanted to
I have a live
possibly
plan for
corner him
midnight.
like they did before.
I have a live plan for midnight for some body cam stuff. Chuck E. Cheese got arrested.
That's a Holland
Chuck E. Cheese got arrested.
Yeah,
Poor traumatized all those kids. Look, all the cops are right behind him. He stops.
But look, now it's getting to that point where it's been going on for so long.
Takes right
there's
off.
People coming out as well and taking
Yeah, you saw
videos
that.
and
So
posting them on
I
X,
just
but
figured I would
more
I
people,
would
we
do
got the
something
Growth
fun.
Choppers
I wish this
overhead,
stupid thing, like
and,
some of
a lot of
these
people like to come, especially when it's a slow speed
things in
one that
StreamYard,
goes
when I
through the same
click the link
neighborhoods,
or
and
click the
just
thing
kind
for
of,
the chat,
is it worth
the
being
little
in
bubble will
tracking
move
mode,
up so
not
it
being
doesn't
aggressive,
cover
and
me.
now you're
And
bringing
some
in a
of them
whole other
don't.
factor
I don't know how to
of the
make it
public
do that. I want to
actually
change
coming
my
and running up to the
settings.
vehicle and taking photos or any number of things. I mean, everyone in this neighborhood can hear the helicopters overhead for sure, and it just turns into kind of an unnecessary spectacle. But yep, just dancing around the Boyle Heights area. You wonder how much gas
Intersection.
is in the tank. Obviously, their tires are fine. That little maneuver
Oh,
where he
maybe it was
went over
green
that
light?
curb,
He was going awfully
taking that
fast.
exit off of the 10 didn't have any effect
Oh,
whatsoever. I mean, this
motorcycle. Oh,
vehicle
sir, be careful.
still getting along just fine. I don't see any problems with the tires here, but it seems like they have no idea what they want to do either, frankly.
See,
at
look,
this
this is
point.
where he jumped over the
And we did
curb
hear
and he like kind of bottomed out a little bit.
So they're no longer in tracking mode. We are back into kind of full-blown pursuit mode. Now we're getting back on the freeway. We'll see how long that lasts. And then if he stays on it for a second, maybe they can get CHP involved.
Got a
But
sound wall.
For now, it's LAPD that they were given permission to re-engage. We'll see if they keep it that way on the freeway, or if they go back into tracking mode, if they can get CHP, and how long we stay on the freeway, and all of kind of the unknowns. This guy really has no rhyme or reason. We haven't seen anything consistent with him, where he's been in the city or in town, and what freeways and the surface streets. It's just kind of
geez, my
so
eyes mess
random the
all
way
of it.
he picks
Okay,
and
hon,
chooses where he
that's
wants to
fine.
end up.
And why he just won't stop? I mean,
Would you know? But real quick before you run off, do you know how to change it to where my bubble will move up when I hit
some
the
drivers,
thing?
well, they
Put
just know
this
that it's
like
not
this
going to end
instead
well
of
for
it
them,
covering
so
me where my
they just
bubble
want to ride
moves.
as long as they can.
Like
but it
there's
also makes
one.
you wonder what
Let me
else.
see if I can find it.
You know, is there something else that they may know about the driver, or something we don't necessarily know
that one
about the
doesn't do it.
driver that we
There's
could find
one of them
out
that does it on my
that
thing.
could cause even more problems for them?
Yeah, and I think this is a new direction for us.
See how that did it?
Now we're on the northbound 5 freeway, so we're getting out of
See
the
how
area
that
we've
did
been
it?
in. We'll come up
I
on
want the
Lincoln
one with the
Heights. Dodger
bubbles to do
Stadium is
it.
going to be on the left soon. So
Okay, we can
that'll be,
investigate.
this is a new
All right,
area that
back
he
to
has
my
not
thing.
taken us yet. So at
All
least
right.
we're exploring some new
Love
real
you, girl.
estate during
Big
this
screen.
chase
See you
here,
later.
as we enter the northbound 5 freeway.
And it's a good thing it's happening not a couple hours earlier when the game got out.
Well, that's what
we couldn't fly anyway, right? I mean, there's restricted airspace.
The TFR for 1 hour after the end of the game.
So we're past that.
Yeah. Yep, we are well past that. The lights are actually off at Dodger Stadium right now. So, yes, no issue with that as we're on the freeway once again now into the Lincoln Heights area. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground and at not very slow speeds. Well, we went through a red light right there. So, you know, kind of a mix of driving gingerly and then getting kind of aggressive and racking up more infractions. But we haven't seen the super, concerted effort to escape like we so often see with some of these suspects right here. And, I mean, good news for everyone that's driving out here. No crazy wrong way driving or anything like that. And even coming all to a rolling stop right there. But
there we go.
Yeah,
I
don't know. They just kind of enjoy hanging out around downtown and seeing how many miles they can cover before they go in handcuffs or what. But, this has been tying up quite a few LAPD units now for quite some time.
And you all were talking about this earlier, and you're right about the opportunities for spike strips.
Yeah.
We just had one before he got back on the freeway again and then got off, where the two different units were at an intersection on either side. And he basically almost stopped. He came to kind of a rolling stop and then took off again, got back on the freeway.
And one of the patrol cars backed up.
Yeah.
Is it a dead end?
No, he was able to come out here, and this will take us, I think, to maybe a roundabout that goes underneath the 110 freeway. But now that's still a ways up. But yeah, they're still not right behind the suspect. I mean, you can see. So yeah, kind of. I guess I just don't really understand like if they're just gonna kind of hang with this until the suspect gets out and runs out of gas or what. But if you give we've seen it so many times where you give the suspect just a little bit of a leash there to go run into a parking structure or something, then you're kind of setting up a whole other
that's a whole disaster
situation that could make it more difficult to get this person into custody. So I do kind of losing control right there. See, not a very capable car. Not sure what he was attempting to do there. But this is not a little Mazda Miata or a Honda S2000 that's capable of making a turn that easily. And coming back around, we'll see if that kind of agitated the suspect. I mean, they've hit a couple of
it probably agitated
him. That was maybe the most severe and egregious. And now all of a sudden, yeah, I mean, maybe they're kind of coming up like they want to, but
are they gonna pit it?
A little bit too fast for that. At the moment, but
maybe he's doing 57,
they're gonna do it here.
60.
They want to.
Wow.
This unit
65 miles an hour.
Yeah.
A 70-mile-an-hour pit,
yeah, this whole pursuit has been very strange as far as protocol and what's being done or not being done. But
they're backing off
that's
now.
and it's a really difficult thing to do. They thought maybe this would be an opportunity to get up on the suspect while they've been going so slow all this time. But then the second they do that, now we're up to 75 miles an hour on Riverside.
We have a crazy driver. He stole a
residential
car.
neighborhood. So it's a tough balancing act out here for LAPD for sure.
You know, is this the most we've seen this car, like at 75 miles per hour?
It's definitely the higher up. I mean, we
Yeah,
saw
I
him
mean,
on
he
surface streets at 60
was
miles
doing
an hour
about
for a
85
second,
on the
but
freeway.
I would say pushing 70, especially on surface streets, is definitely high. Look at
Look
this.
at
Here we
this.
go.
Whoa.
Oh, he's going to try
man.
to. Oh,
Yeah,
this is their first
that's
attempt.
really, really surprising.
Look at this.
And they're going to do it.
Oh,
Look at
there
that.
you go.
He's trying to spin him around here, and the suspect's got to know, is that going to be it? Are they really going to try to continue after that was one of the most aggressive things I've ever seen LAPD do. I got to say, especially after
He's
what we
over
saw
it.
earlier. And
He's like, yeah, I'm done.
That's it.
Hands on
I
the
think,
hood. He's like,
that
yep.
was just a little bit too much adrenaline. For
Yep,
the
he's like,
suspect,
I'm done.
and,
I'm
they
out.
decided,
That was too much
all
for
right,
me.
our joyride is over. Before we crash this car,
You can
potentially
have
flip
it.
it over or something.
You can have
He's
it.
walking the wrong
You
way,
know,
though.
Hands behind his back already.
Yeah, and out pretty much immediately here on the edge of Frogtown here on Riverside Drive. And now
Frogtown?
down on your knees. So really, that was,
Frogtown.
I mean, as far as protocol and all that goes, I mean, I don't know if the LAPDs were
We
visiting
should
some
rewind,
things or if
rewind
they got
and
some
look
kind
at
of
his
special
pants,
clearance.
see
I
if
don't
they're
know.
wet.
That was pretty crazy there, Mike.
So yeah, and Des, we were
I'd have
replaying on the right
peed
side of your screen
myself,
for our
not
viewers. It
gonna
looks
lie.
like they may
I'd
have
have
been still
peed
within protocol
myself.
because he briefly dropped down to about 30 miles an hour, and that's right when that officer made contact. Now, what's interesting as the guys there, look, there's no plate on the back of that car.
Oh, there's
So I wonder
not.
how they had it as a reported stolen and how they knew it was stolen. Because generally that's how you know is you run the plate and it comes back stolen. But this car doesn't seem to have a plate. So that makes me wonder if it was a witness stolen or what's called a fresh stolen, where somebody just reported and said, hey, this guy stole my car. Now he's being taken into custody, handcuffs being put on, and this is finally over. But that was such a strange ending, and that officer wanting to do that pit at almost 60 miles an hour at first.
Yeah, I
Nuts.
thought he was
And look
going
how
to. I
many
was
officers
scared.
there
Oh, yeah.
are. How many resources he was tying up for that entire time throughout the city.
And imagine how tired they were of following this guy. And finally said, okay, this is unusual on our part, but you know what? We're just going to
Be
give it a
done
go.
with it. Yeah.
Right?
Get this over with.
There's crazies out
Okay.
there.
Well, Des, you want to call that a
Yep.
code 4?
I'm going to call that too.
Yep, that is code 4. They are.
Code 4. Code 4, they cleared the vehicle. They're done. All right, guys. Look, the police, they're present. All right, y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good night. I'll be back at midnight, about 40 minutes. I'm coming back. I got some body cam stuff. So with that, peace. Rubber out. See ya in a bit.
Life's a ride on a rickety old track, holding on tight, never looking back. In the rubber, in the room, we couldn't